This episode is going to be a fun one for me to go through. I've spent a little bit of time reflecting over these past few days. And the reason for that is we just hit 5 years in business as a company. I think the coolest thing is it's just most companies don't make it to 5 years. Most go out of business before then. And what started as just a simple side project, helping my grandma 5 years ago, turned into a company that now we've serviced over 3,000 homeowners, have completed over 7,000 projects, have over 500 five-star reviews on Google, and are in Palm Coast, Ormond Beach, Flagler Beach, Daytona Beach. We've worked in Port Orange. We've worked in St. Augustine. We've worked in Gainesville. We've worked in DeLand, all these other places around. And this is just 5 years ago. So what I wanted to do for the episode here is put 5 points together of some of the biggest takeaways that I've had that I think that I'll truly take into the rest of my career in entrepreneurship. And so I'm going to give you those values. Some of these stories are going to be really raw, and they're going to be some of the ones that don't look as pretty, but some of the scars that I had to go through to actually get to the point where I'm at today. So there's 5 lessons, and I'm going to read them first, and then I'm going to go into what actually each story entails. Number 1 is failing early, the value of just taking a step and falling on your face. Number 2 is having integrity, doing the right thing. Number 3 is trusting the process, having faith throughout the journey. Number 4, adapting to change, being able to be malleable. Number 5 is making an unpopular decision when not everybody around you is on board. So we're going to start back in 2020, where it all began. And how the story goes is I was laying lava rock down for my grandma around her house. She had a bunch of chores. One day she had 200 bags of lava rock dropped in her front driveway. And my assignment was to put it down. And throughout the day, I had my headphones in. People were walking by, and they were so excited that I was doing this lava rock. They would come by and say, all right, Eric, you're doing this for your grandma. Can you come over and move a bush from one place in my yard to another? Then another person would come by and, hey, I have a dresser that needs to be moved from upstairs to downstairs. And it just slowly built a little momentum with me, just no intention, just took a few steps to, okay, sure. This is where lesson 1 comes in, the failing early. There are 2 things within the first basically day of business that I completely fell on my face and I needed to experience, but it was so embarrassing to look back on, multiple mistakes. And part number 1 of that is to go and get business at the beginning. I had no idea how to do that. I wanted to get some customers. I created a little flyer and I was like, okay, well, how do I let people know that we exist? And so the first line of business was printing 60 of those flyers out and walking around a gated community and putting flyers in someone's mailbox. And this is why I think it's almost good sometimes to actually be naive, because I put 60 in the mailboxes, was feeling super proud of myself. I get a call, 10 minutes after I finish, and I'm like, there's no way. We already get business. This is incredible. And I turn around my phone and it says main gate, which for those of you that are familiar with the gated community, maybe live in one, main gate means the security of the gated community. And so basically they said, I don't know if this is Eric Libby or not, but you need to stop whatever you're doing right now. So I was like, okay, well, that's marketing efforts gone. I have no idea any other way to get business. This was so early. So that's part 1. Part 2 of this is someone actually did give us a chance. They weren't peeved that we put a flyer in their mailbox. And we get a call. Hey, I got a little project. I need to move a little shrub. It's going to be very simple. I got all the tools. I just need some labor. I'd love to support you guys. I love seeing younger people working. And so we start job number 1. We are removing a Defender plant. It's a pretty big plant. They have all the shovels. They have an axe. They know it's going to be a little bit tough to get down there. It's been there for years. And we're going to take it out. So I called one of my neighborhood buddies and I said, hey, I got a bigger project. I need some help. Do you want to do it? And so we start taking it out. We're 30 minutes in. We're making great progress. We have this line around the bush and we get to a point where it's getting tough. So we have to use the axe. We're hitting it with an axe. Finally hit it once more. And in this little hole, a little water starts to come up. And we're like, okay, well, that's not good. So we immediately kick some dirt in it. And we're like, well, that would probably solve it, right? It's kept coming up. It kept coming up. And you fast forward 10 minutes and half of their pool was drained out from their pool. And it's like, okay, our marketing immediately shot down. Our right out of the gate, the first project we ever complete is probably going to be $1,000+ fix to fix the pipe and then the pool. Thank God the people were incredible. And they said, hey, you even asked before, is there any pipes here? We told you no, and you hit it. It's not, don't take, we'll take care of it. No worries. And it's like immediately I was like petrified. I'm like, this is what starting a business is like trying to do like a side hustle. But I think what it made me realize is now you go through those situations, I know what not to do. And that's honestly some of the best things in these scars you have in business or in life. It's like when you make these mistakes, it's something you'll never make again. And somebody can tell you, they give you all the lecture, like, hey, be careful of this, do all this the right way. But until it happens to you, you won't actually resonate and learn it. So failing early was number one. Now you move into 2021 and our business starts to establish a little bit more. We get an LLC, try to cover ourselves a little bit, get insurance. We end up hiring an operations manager to come and facilitate some light duties. Maybe it was like a quasi operations manager, reaching out to customers, checking in with the team, making sure that we're good to go with jobs, we're giving the customers good work. And then also getting workers' comp. So making sure that if a team member gets injured or we break an item, that both things are covered. And as we get a little bit more established, we had a customer that came into our lives that needed a lot of help. They were in a bit of an unfortunate situation, didn't have too much money, and they were trying to move. Very sweet person, very sweet lady. And we decided to take the project on. It was just helping pack boxes, preparing for a move that was upcoming. And this is where the second lesson comes in. Having integrity. This particular person was very particular about where we would drop off our donations. So she had to bring a lot of items to donation. We're going to call her Carol. So Carol would want to pack up stuff in her home, bring it out to the donation centers. And there was probably maybe 6 or 7 runs that I did over the course of helping her. We worked for her maybe Monday through Friday for probably, I want to say 2 months. Like there was so much stuff she had to do. There's a lot of things in her house. She was a bit of a hoarder where it's just a lot of things it was hard to get rid of, but she needed to prep so she could move to where she wanted to go. And so one of my assignments was to help her pack. And then at the end of the day, I would take a box over to the donation center. And she had a very particular rule, made it very clear from the start. I do not want anything that I have going to Goodwill. And so run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll take it to this local place in our community that it's a good mission. It's a local nonprofit. And she was very happy about that. Until one day I brought it there. They told me they're not accepting any other donations. And so I brought it back to Goodwill. I was like, I don't want this stuff in my car. It's a bunch of little trinkets and toys, like probably valued under $5 each. And I was like, I don't want to keep this in my car. So I bring it there. I go back home and I get a call 30 minutes later. She calls me in a panic and she says, Eric, I don't know where this is. I've been looking for it everywhere and I'm really scared. I think we might have put one of my pictures in the donation box. Where is it? I need to go. You need to send me the address for that place you've been going. And I was like, ooh, okay. And I told her, I said, you know what? I'll take care of it. No worries. Let me go get it for you and I'll bring it back to your house. So I fast forward 30 minutes. I get in my car. I go to Goodwill and I go to their donation center, their back room of Goodwill to go find it. And there is just mounds of donations. And I go in there and I say, hey, there's a client I've been working for. They donated something. They need it back. I need to go find it. And the lady there just kind of laughed. She's like, oh my, okay, go ahead and look. There's probably zero chance that you'll be able to find it. And so I recruit 2 of the Goodwill help workers. They're there with me for an hour looking for this specific box that we donated just under an hour ago. There's so much stuff there. Finally have to give up, which means I have to call her and say I couldn't find it and that it wasn't at the other places at Goodwill. I called her and she was heartbroken. She said, I can't believe you would lie to me. You even had the chance to tell me on the first phone call. And you know how I felt about that. And I completely feel hurt. I feel like I've been lied to. And so it's moments like that, again, the scar comes in. Having integrity. Lesson 2 is having integrity, how important it is when you come to situations where you can make a decision and you can maybe choose one that's easier for you or a little bit harder, but having integrity, and it will, I promise you, having integrity will win. It's a long-term game, but it will win so much better than just taking the shortcut corner, which I absolutely did there. I move into 2022. of our business, we go into this next phase. We're starting to work on our social media pages. We get a Google review page, a website, starting to build out a little bit more of our online presence, looking a little bit more professional. When people are like, hey, what do you guys do? Can I have some content in your company? Stuff that we can send them about our business. And so this is where lesson 3 comes in. And lesson 3 is trusting the process. How this story goes is I was graduating in 2022 in December, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for that next step. I was working in my business. Now this would have been about 2.5 years, and I could continue if I wanted to, or I could go and get a sales job. And in that year, in November, for Thanksgiving, my family took a trip to North Carolina and Tennessee. Started in North Carolina, went over to Tennessee, and the focal point of the trip was to go snowboarding. And so one of the days at the end of November, I'm sitting on the snowboard hill at the very top, and I'm sitting there, and it just hits me. I'm like, holy crap, what am I doing right now? 10 days until I graduate, and I have no idea what I'm doing for my career. Did I wait too long? Am I making the right decision? Is this business thing, am I just distracted? Should I be making a lot more money than I am right now? And it was sitting on me like a weight. I'd say I got to the point where I was like emotional about it. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, this just doesn't feel right. I waited too long. I thought I made a terrible decision. And so I just couldn't stop thinking about that. This whole trip, I was like, I basically have to go back and like, great, I'm on a trip right now and I can enjoy it. But once I go back, I have to go and face this decision I made. You fast forward 3 days and I'm at the amusement park Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's crazy, this story, because I'm going and I'm riding some of these roller coasters with my brother. My parents are having lunch somewhere and he runs off ahead. And I am not at all somebody who goes into like little gift shops or stores or anything like that. But for some reason, as I was following my brother to this ride, I look off to the left and this gift shop attracts my attention. It's so weird to think about, for me at least. Like, if you know me, like, so weird to think about. And I take a left into this little gift shop and I walk in, and immediately my eyes gravitate to a point on the wall. I walk over there and there's a little sticker on the wall and it says, walk by faith, not by sight. Walk by faith, not by sight. It's a verse out of Corinthians. And immediately I saw that, and there's a wave of just calmness and peace and just this feeling that I was like, God, thank you for showing me. I know. I get it. I know what you're trying to tell me. I know I just have to work on this business thing, and I'm never going to have all the answers. And so the lesson baked in here is when we make decisions, but there's 2 routes and either one could be correct, but you have to make a decision and you have to have faith. So that lesson number 3 is trust the process. Now you fast forward into 2023 and our team grows from 6 to 25. We get featured in local publications like The Observer, Flagler News Weekly, speaking at events like A Million Cups. We expand into a new city in this time period. And so we're making progress. I have the time actually now. I'm working on this as my full-time business rather than being in school half-time and then working in the business half-time. And the 2023 lesson 4 was adapting to change. And so at this point of the company, we were working on developing an app for our company. It was a web application. We invested about 10 to 15,000 into this and people running this department. And it was about 9 months of time that we were developing out our own technology. I just realized that we had no idea what we were doing for budgeting, timeline, what that actually looks like, how the customers are going to interact with it. We were making progress, but there's no way we'd have had the cash flow to support it. So I came to terms and I had to basically decide, all right, well, we've been spending all this time, we have to cut it or basically we're going out of business. It was so ridiculously hard. We had this grand vision that we're going to have this app. It's going to be in the App Store. It's going to be perfect. And we're going to develop it ourselves. We'll own the technology. And I had to pivot. Situations changed. We had less money. We weren't making as much progress and we had to adapt to the change. And caused turmoil within our company, but we had to make the decision. We had to change. So that's lesson 4, adapting to change. Now you come into 24 and 25, years 24 and 25, and multiple things that happen within this time period. So we're growing, we're bringing on some new roles. We had to cut a few roles, but this is where lesson 5 comes in, and it's making unpopular decisions. And so on that note, the beginning of 2024, we were again financially strapped. We didn't have too many options. And so we just hired a CS role that joined our company. They're answering phones. We're going to pay them about 30 to 40,000 for the year. We had multiple people on staff. They weren't getting hours for software costs. They bill per user. We had a lot of people there. There's so many costs we're incurring. And then we were in our slow season of our business. Again, I had to make a decision that was very uncomfortable. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. And at one point we had to lay off 7 people at the same time. And granted, for a bigger company, that might not be that many people, but if our team is 25 and we lay off 7 people, that is a big chunk of your staff just going just to that. And it was extremely unpopular. It created a ripple effect within our organization. People were confused. They were scared. They weren't sure what that meant. We had to call an emergency meeting for the entire team. If you want to be here, well, great. If you don't want to be here, then you got to say it now. Otherwise, we're going to continue on ahead. We're going to keep making progress at this business. It was great to see the buy-in from the team when that happened, but many people didn't agree. They were like, I don't think this is the way that we should do it. And as a leader, to understand that when you get to those situations, there's going to be so many people that say, you know what, I don't agree with you. And honestly, that's okay. It's sharing the why and respecting their opinion about it. But as a leader, it comes down to you. If you're the CEO of a company or business owner, making a popular decision is going to put you out of business in a lot of cases. If you're doing what every other person would do, then you're going to get what everyone else has. And as a business owner, in a lot of cases, you are sometimes the 10 to 5 to 1% of people that made that decision to take a risk for a crazy financial upside, maybe create an impact project with what you're working on. So sometimes you just got to make the unpopular decision. So as we finish out going into the 5 years as to where we are at today, we ended up coming back and we did launch an app. We expanded into Daytona. We've now completed over 7,000 projects, helped over 3,000 homeowners. Again, 500 5-star reviews on Google. And our goal as we continue to expand from years 5 to 10 now is simplifying the search for reliable labor. There's such a gap in the market for that right now. So in closing, I want to summarize the 5 points. You have failing early, my lesson in 2020. Building something great is going to come with mistakes. You just have to accept it. You are going to fall on your face. And the quicker you do that and actually get back up, you're just going to be able to take that into any other situation that you're actually learning. You're going to be moving at 2x to 4x, 10x the speed of everyone else if you can just get back up right away. Number 2, having integrity. Being truthful with your relationships. When you give someone your word, it is so powerful if you can keep it. People can count on you on being real. Number 3 is trusting the process, walking by faith and not by sight. You'll never truly have all of the answers. And sometimes you just got to make a decision and go. Number 4 is adapting to change. What once was a great idea might change. New circumstances might come up. You have to be willing to face that head on, rip the Band-Aid off and keep moving. And number 5, making unpopular decisions. People are going to question your judgment, but sometimes you just got to go with it. So in closing, it has been a awesome ride in the past 5 years. Reflecting over the past few days, just thinking like, wow, it started with no intention of us building a company. And slowly more people bought on. We brought on more team members, more homeowners gave us a shot, more businesses were like, this is a great idea. And I'm so beyond blessed. I'm so thankful. So I thank you everyone out there for all the support that you've given us over the last 5 years. We're going to keep hustling, keep making things happen. And that's all I got on this episode. So if you enjoyed our story, some of the lessons I had. So I encourage you to share it, maybe like it on the platform that you're listening to this on. And let's go out there, keep making it happen and crush the day.